Here to discuss with me, Jan Morgan. Jan, thanks for coming on the show. This is the kind of thing that you teach people how to do and you talk about all the time.
Absolutely, Charles. As a defensive pistol instructor, certified firearms instructor, I tell my students, though, that every time you pull the trigger, you need to assume that there is a lawyer writing on every bullet. And unfortunately, every time a concealed carry citizen in this country uses a gun in self-defense, it often ends up in court. Even if you are criminally exonerated, for example, in the case you just mentioned, even if that man is criminally exonerated, the intruder's family in many states can come after him in civil court. So he's still going to be out a lawyer and still out attorney's fees. So unfortunately, that's the truth that we're facing today. But I can tell you this, concealed carry insurance is one way to be prepared for that. It will help you cover attorney's fees in case you end up in civil court. And the other thing I want to mention is this. If it's truly a case of self-defense, Charles, and I can promise you, if you are staring death in the face, the last thing you're going to be worried about as a citizen is legally, can you do this? All that's going to matter is survival at that point. So that's when it really gets down to,
right,
I have to pull this gun, I have to pull the trigger to save lives.
Right. And of course, you know, now we're beyond the point where the last 8 years, everyone was worried there was a serious effort to somehow, perhaps either repeal the Second Amendment or certainly lessen its impact. Taxing bullets, all kinds of schemes are being thrown out there. So that we're over that part, but there's also been a renewed crime wave in certain areas, particularly these kind of crimes, burglaries and things like that. Do you think enough people understand how to protect themselves in these situations?
I think that we're seeing more people, I know for a fact, as a firearms instructor, more people are actually getting armed and trained. We knew during the Obama administration there were record gun sales, so more people were buying guns. But now people are sitting back, and as the economy starts to improve and they've got more money to spend, I think you're going to see more citizens spending that money on training. I'll tell you what, Charles, I have a solution, though, for all the anti-gun radicals who are so concerned about the intruders who are breaking into people's homes. Those radicals who are concerned about the lives of those intruders, what they need to do is put signs in front of their home saying, we don't believe in guns. Our home is not going to be, guns are not going to be used to defend this premises. And that way the intruders will know which homes have homeowners armed with guns. And then they won't have to worry about getting shot by armed homeowners.
I want your take on Chicago's in the news a lot. And there's talk about perhaps even maybe sending in the National Guard or some sort of major federal intervention there. Do you think that sort of thing is ultimate? Do you think that's necessary? Would you go that far? Or because you deal on both sides, you understand that these sort of issues are better than most people. Would that ultimately be the right decision?
No, Charles, it's not the right decision. I was in the middle of the gun rights battle in Illinois. I was flown in by the Illinois Gun Owners Political Action Committee when they were trying to get concealed carry rights for their citizens. We helped raise money. I taught a pistol class there, and we got concealed carry rights for the citizens. But the problem is, citizens there are still telling me there are guns prohibited signs everywhere you go in Chicago. So even though citizens have that license to carry now in Chicago, they can't carry anywhere they go. So you're still having an issue of law-abiding citizens being disarmed and the criminals and thugs who don't pay attention to the laws being armed. So the answer to me is always the best way to stop bad guys with guns is more guns in the hands of law-abiding, well-armed, well-trained citizens.
Jan Morgan, thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
You bet.